Okay, so I'm probably going to start numbering these. I didn't know I would be making additional audios, but I think I'm making additional audios, and it's so close together because I'm very close. I feel like I am being given the message that I'm very close to just no longer on the topic of so-called black women, just no longer even talking about that topic, because they are the group that is in existence in the United States right now. I'm not talking about so-called black women around the world, because I don't know if they sacrificed themselves for their group of men, but I definitely know the so-called black women in the United States, collectively, they have sacrificed excuse me, they have sacrificed themselves for the so-called black man, okay? Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of things here because I'm not going to make 2 more audios about it. First, I'm going to talk about how Black Lives Matter, how the women who always wanted to pump their fist and wanted to offend a lot of black men during the Black Lives Matter movement when it was real, when it was at its heights. I want to talk about how the women sacrificed themselves. First of all, they kept sacrificing themselves for being at the front line. Now, it's not that they were asleep, because, in the world of duality, you're given choices. You are given choices. It's a tarot card called Choose Wisely. Okay? Adjacent choices. Now, it's getting to the point where so-called black women ain't going to have no choice. So, in my last audio, I posted, I put in the comment section about, ape shit with Beyonce and Jay-Z, and I talked about how they looked like they were trying to be resuscitated, but they couldn't get up, and then they were standing on blocks, and it was no light on it. I mean, it wasn't a light in the far back, but it was no light over their heads. Okay, they were no longer enlightened. They were no longer connected to a higher source. They were slaves. They were slaves. They were slaves. I don't know if you are aware, if you believe in other planets outside of Earth. But in Sirius B, not Sirius A, but in the star system Sirius, specifically Sirius B and C, where the Anunnaki were, they had women who were slaves. Okay, they had women who were slaves. Okay, they're bringing that mess over here, especially happening to so-called black women. Okay, so. Let's talk about this Black Lives Matter. So, yeah, they always wanted to go to the front, pump their fist, talk about the black man. But then when Sandra Bland was killed, and then when that other lady was killed, I forget her name, mixed-looking lady who had that boyfriend that ran out, and it was her in the apartment with her son, and she was shot to death. And black men just got in the comment section about talking about how they deserved it. That's why I talk about you always giving choices. That's why I don't give a so-called black woman a pass, because you're given choices. So I saw the same thing as a lot of those other so-called black women saw. They saw where they were always at the front lines pumping their fists for these black men who would get shot. But when it happened to a so-called black women, the black men, majority of them, not all, I'm not even going to say majority, a lot of the ones who were talking, and the ones who didn't say that, they weren't really speaking up for so-called black women either. They just was, silent. Okay? But a lot of them were talking about how she deserved it, she should have did this, she should have complied or whatever. But see, you can't say it about the so-called black man. You couldn't say it about the other guy who was told to put his hands up, but he decided to put his hands in his pocket and pull out a pocket knife. Okay, he was shot. Okay. I forget his name too. Sometimes when I'm trying to talk about something, I forget their names because it's like I'm put on the spot trying to remember who they are. But black women could never say that they deserve it. Black women can never say that Mike Brown might have deserved what he got. But that pastor said it, the pastor at Atla Church. Oh, he said it, Pastor Manning. Oh, he talked all the time how a lot of these black men deserve what they got. And a lot of the black community hated him for it too. But and nobody wanted to talk about Trayvon Martin, okay? But had there been black women, so-called black women, they would have been told how they deserved what was coming to them. Now, it was some of us who paid attention to that and some who didn't. That's why I said so-called black women were given choices, and that's why they gets no pass anymore. They gets no pass. Okay, because they were given choices. They were shown in their faces. Not only were they shown through the internet from 2006 to now, how much black men hate them by getting online and calling them bulldogs and talking about their skin complexion and putting them down and saying they hate them. And, you know, I mean, black women were shown more hate from black men that they were shown love. And they were given a choice to walk away, to see things for what it was. The veil was removed. You should have been able to see everything crystal clear. And the so-called black women refused. They just wanted to try to find ways to work things out. They kept wanting to find ways to repair the relationship. Okay? So, Black Lives Matter, it was some pictures going around. I don't know if it was around Facebook or where it was, but it was these ladies. You know, you kept seeing memes of these ladies with bullets in their foreheads, as, you know, trying to show how the black man was suffering. And then you saw memes with so-called black women with her lips sewed shut, and memes of so-called black women where she would look like she was shot, where she looked like she was, shot in the forehead. I saw those pictures. Okay. Now I want you to think about this. Have you ever seen any black man take those kind of pictures? When have you seen any black man take any picture with his mouth sewn shut, or any picture with him being shot in the forehead? You saw a bunch of black women doing that, of so-called black women. You saw them taking those pictures. That was already sacrificial right there. That was already letting you know that they were willing to give up their life for this black man. Okay? Now, I want to talk about this video called 713 by Beyonce and Jay-Z. It's on this album, The Carters, the one with ape shit on it. It's on that album, and I'm going to post the link down below. At the very end, listen to 713. To me, it's a catchy song because it reminds me of the 80s and 90s and stuff. But it's called 713 by Beyonce and Jay-Z. And at the end of that song, about 3 minutes in, but start at about 2 minutes and 59 seconds, but about 3 minutes in, Jay-Z says, "Thank you, Black Queen, you saved us. Thank you, Black Queen, you saved us." What does that mean? What does that mean? How did the Black Queen save? He said, you saved us. He didn't say you saved me. He didn't say Beyonce saved him. He said, "Thank you, Black Queen, you saved us." Okay, you saved us. Okay, that's that. Once again, that means that the so-called black women, have sacrificed themselves for the black man. They have sacrificed themselves. That's why she is always absent. When I would drive around, I see these big billboards, and when I go into the movies and I look at these previews and I look at movies, I don't see hardly any black women anymore. Most time I see a so-called black woman as if she's in a black movie. I don't see her anymore. And people kept saying, well, you know, black women need to stay away from Hollywood anywhere. This is art imitating life. This has nothing to do with so-called black women getting opportunities in Hollywood. It's about art imitating life, okay? The fact that she is absent like that from these billboards, and the fact that she is absent from all these previews I keep seeing when I go to the movies, unless it's a black movie, you know, then you see previews with black women in it. But other than that, you don't see them anymore. That's art imitating life. That means that she is gone. That means she's gone. Now they might bring a lot of these African women and women of other cultures, but it's not going to be the women from the United States. That lets you know that you're not all the same. The so-called black women from the United States come from a different tribe than regular African women. They're trying to move them out. Okay? She is not the same as the African woman. She is not. Okay? Her bloodline, it comes from the United States of America. Okay? That's her bloodline. And her bloodline traces before the Europeans got here. Okay? And before the African slaves got here. They were already here. Okay? But another group of people took their identity and called themselves Indians and $5 Indians. But, okay. Yeah, so I want you to do that. And when I talked about ape shit, yeah, this showing the black women that's becoming slaves to the men. Okay? So you see them about to be resuscitated off the floor, off the ground. You see they keep trying to get up, and then you see them standing on these blocks in the dark, but there's a little light in the far back, but there's no light over their head, and they're dancing, moving in unison. They're slaves. They're being controlled by something else. They are slaves. They have no free will. Oh, now I gotta go. But I'll talk to you later.